Hi everybody, and welcome to my sewing room. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rosemary and I do a lot of different kinds of sewing and embroidery on this channel. So I have a confession to make. You probably have already seen this video. I had it up on the channel on Sunday and I took it back down again. And the reason why I did that was because I made these little t-shirts, the one that the mannequin is wearing and the one that I'm wearing. I'm very happy with them. They fit really nice. It's a nice stretch fabric, but I used a technique in the construction of it was to put an invisible elastic around the neckline. And I'm not saying that technique is a bad technique. I'm just saying I obviously didn't do it right. And I didn't like the way the neckline laid when I tried to wear the shirt. So I came home from work yesterday and I cut the neckline off and I put it back on again. And I like it so much better. It lays really tight, really nice, and the binding around the neck is really tiny and it doesn't stand out so much. And the same thing with the white one. It just looks a whole lot better. So what I've done is I've cut off the beginning of the other one and I'm putting this one on there, and you'll notice throughout the video there's a part in it when I'm doing the neckline that I'm going to tell you to put that invisible stretchable elastic in the binding, and I'm telling you right now, don't do that. Just go ahead and fold the binding in half and sew it on, and then turn it just the way I do it in the video without the elastic in it. You'll be so much happier with it. I'll do some research, I'll figure out what I did wrong, and I'll do another t-shirt with the invisible elastic, and I'll show you obviously where I went wrong. But I think it's a good video. I think the t-shirts came out really nice. I want to start doing a lot more with stretch knits, a lot more with my serger, and I hope you enjoy this video. I thought it would be really fun to try and do a t-shirt. I work in a sewing store, and I've discovered at my age that it's very difficult to find t-shirts that fit properly. They're always too short, and I want them to be a little bit longer. I'm not a really slim person, so I kind of would like something that would come down over my hips a little bit. So you know what? I'm going to have to make one for me. I've got a new serger, and so I'm going to try this on the serger. I bought some cotton white knit and some white lace because I like lace, and I think that would be really fun. And then I went and I bought some stretchy black fabric. This isn't cotton, this is a polyester, and it's got a little shine to it, and some black lace to go with it. And I went through the patterns. I always go shopping when the patterns are on sale, so I found this one for a pretty good price, and I love it because it's got like 6 different versions of a t-shirt that we can make. We're going to learn a little bit about how to use the serger, a little bit about how to put these patterns together. The one I like the most is actually got lace on the back and lace on the sleeves, but I don't really like that v-neck, so I'm going to try and cut a scoop neck and put some binding around the neckline. I watched a video just recently that showed using this see-through elastic in the neckline to make it have a little bit more of a stable flat look to it, rather than just using a ribbing or something. So I'm going to give that a try. We're going to see how it's going to work. I think we're going to be learning together. I do know how to sew with knits, but I still am learning a whole lot about sewing with knits. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut both of these patterns out, and then we're going to go to the serger and we're going to see what we can do by putting it together and see what we end up with. So I'm back. It's been a couple of days since I showed you that fabric and said I was going to make these blouses, and I've actually made one already. This is the white one, and what I did was I put lace down the front of it and cut scallops in the lace where the scallops were, because I just, no matter what I did, it seemed like the rolled hem just didn't look very good. But since this lace has got a scallop pattern in it, I just went ahead and cut that at the bottom, and then did a rolled hem on the bottom of the stretch cotton, and it came out pretty good. I'm very happy with the result. And now I'm working on the black one, and unfortunately black fabric doesn't show up really good on the camera. But what I've done so far is I did not put a lace panel on the front of this one. I'm going to leave it plain, but I have sewed the lace on the back of the shirt that just leaves like a bare spot on the back. And then here's the front. And I did all this on my serger, and I did change the front of that pattern so that it has a scoop neck instead of a V-neck, and I do like that a whole lot better. And I serged the two sides. I haven't put the hem in it yet. And then, this wants to slide off of this. Then I took the sleeves and I serged the center seam on the sleeves, and then I took it to my sewing machine and I did a 3-part zigzag to flatten that out so that it looked nice. I like just a regular 4-thread overlock on this center seam, and then the 3-part zigzag to sew it down rather than a rolled hem, because a rolled hem just doesn't lay as nice as I like it to lay on this lace. And then I did do a rolled hem on the end of the lace here, and it came out pretty nice. So that worked out really nice. And I did both the sleeves. So what I'm going to do now is, after you've done the sleeves, this is a really interesting pattern in the way that it kind of does a 90-degree turn right here at the top, where it goes down and across like this. And what you end up with up here on the top is you end up with, let me see if I can move this a little bit. You end up with the sleeve being lace this way, and then it turns and goes down this way. And then the back, of course, is a big lace panel. So that's why that's shaped like that. So when we go to put it onto the top, we're going to have to sew this way and then sew this way, which I can do with a 4-thread overlock, but I'll have to kind of start here and go this way, and then come back and come this way and go down. Sometimes you can pull it straight like this, but it doesn't always lay flat. So that's the way I would do it, is I would start here and sew this way, and then come this way, and then sew this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put those sleeves on there. And then after I do that, I want to show you how I did this neckline so that it lays the way I want it to. Okay, so I'm back. And if you haven't guessed, with my red and white garments that I'm wearing, today's the 4th of July, and I've got family upstairs, so you might hear a little bit of the noises that are going on up there. But anyway, so I went ahead and I put the sleeves on this, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think it looks pretty good, and I've put it on myself and fitted it. I have a tendency to cut things a little bit too big because I'm always afraid of them being too small. So anyway, so it fits pretty good and it looks nice. So now all I have to do is put the neckline on and do the cover hem for the hem. So what I've done is this pattern came with a measurement for the neckline, but I didn't want to use that because, as I said before, I cut a scoop instead of a V-neck. So what I did was I just took my measuring tape and I measured exactly how big this neckline is, and then I cut a strip of the same stretch, and I made sure the stretch was going this way so that it had some give to it, and I made it just about an inch too small. Usually, and if you watched my other video when I did the little boys t-shirts, you cut it a little bit smaller than that. You probably are going to go 2 to 3 inches smaller so it really pulls it in. I don't want this to really pull in like a t-shirt. I want it to lay flat, just like a binding that's around the top. So I only cut it about an inch too small, and I made it into a tube. And then I have this see-through elastic that I showed you before. Took me a while to find it. They didn't have it at the fabric store I usually go to, so I had to go and look around for it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on the inside of this neckline and fold it over so that it's inside. And that's going to give just a little bit more stability to my neckline. And then I'll take the pins and pin it. This didn't stay where I wanted it to stay. Here, let's take the pin back out and lay this right here. This is so much easier to do when you're just doing it at your sewing machine. And then you pin it like this. Get a smaller pin. So anyway, I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to lay it inside of there like that. So it took me a little bit to get that finally done, but I went ahead and I pinned it all the way around with the see-through elastic in it. Now I'm going to do something that's probably going to sound really crazy. I am going to pin this to the wrong side of the fabric, starting with the seam that holds it together, that makes it into a circle. I'm going to take it and put it to the back. Turn this way, and I'm going to put it to the wrong side of the fabric. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because after I put this on my serger and serged it all the way around, I'm going to turn it around to the right side and top stitch it with my sewing machine. So it's not like a real rib net. It's rib neckline. It's more like a binding that's around the top. So I'm going to pin this to the wrong side of the fabric. I'm going to take it over to my serger. I'm going to have to stretch it a little bit because I cut it too small, remember? So I'm going to stretch it a little bit as I go around and make sure that it fits nicely. And that little bit of stretch is going to make it so it lays a little bit flatter and it doesn't droop on the front, which is definitely not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that, and then I'll see you just in a minute on my sewing machine. Okay, so I'm back, and I've already put this binding around the top of my blouse, and I folded it over to the front side, and I'm just going to kind of fold it over halfway, and I'm going to top stitch it as close to the edge as I can. And I have to kind of pull on it. I want to feed it in so it just feeds really easily, but not pulling on it too much because I don't want to stretch out the neckline and make it not lay nice. So I'm just kind of easing it in there, sewing right up against the edge with a top stitch. Okay, so I'm all finished with my blouse. I have to tell you that I changed my mind. I'm one of those people that changed my mind halfway through a project, and I did not do a cover hem on the bottom of this. If you'll notice in this pattern, it has a V-neck that comes down. I'm sorry, a V-hem, and pull this up. The hem comes down in a V right here, and it does the same thing in the back. And on the back of this one, it does come down in a V. And in the front, I cut that off because I did this little lace scallop on here, and I didn't want it on there. But on this one, I left the V on the bottom, and I just decided that I didn't need to switch my serger over to a cover hem because it didn't need to stretch to go over my head. So what I did was I serged the edges and then just took it to my sewing machine, turned it up, and did the little lightning bolt stitch that has stretch to it on it. And I think it came out really nice. It has a really nice finish. If you flip it around, you can see that it's all lace out here on the back, and it just laced just beautifully. I'm just very, very happy with the way it came out. So there's my two blouses all ready to go. I definitely need more blouses to wear to work, so this will work out really good for me. I'm not sure when I'm going to do another video or even what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do another learn how to use your brother sewing machine with some of the letter stitches. So if you have a 700, a 950, or a 500 little brother sewing machine and you still want to learn a few more stitches that I did not include in my last video on Learn Your Machine, make sure that you tune in and watch it. And other than that, I would just like to ask you to subscribe, like, make a comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.